Hi BookTube, it's Amy, and I'm back reading from the Anatomy of Bibliomania by Holbrook Jackson. Here in my edition, we're on page 281 with a section titled A Brief Catalogue of Advantages. Of the diverse advantages which books have bestowed upon men, that of upholding in moments of depression, amara temporaire, is not least but most necessary, and especially conducing to the good of mankind. With a quote there from Horace, to sweeten the bitters. He who has once known their satisfaction, Emerson claims, is provided with a resource against calamity. What Virgil has done, others have also done. Homer, Horace, Dante, Shakespeare, among the poets of the Western world, and in the Orient, Confucius in his discourses and Analects, Lao Tzu in his Tao, and Mahabharata with the Lord Buddha song, Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads of Hindustan, Al-Quran of Mahomet, and Zend Avesta of the Parsees who follow the word of Zarathustra, the Talmud of the Hebrews, and all the poets and storytellers, Hafiz and Omar Khayyam, the Arabian Nights, and the Jataka. The list has no end, nor has their influence. They support us in solitude and keep us from becoming a burden to ourselves. They help us to forget the coarseness of men and things, compose our cares and our passions, and lay our disappointments to sleep. They are the noblest road to happiness below. They are links to the chains of consciousness, binding together the different scattered divisions of our personal identity. Landmarks, guides in our journey through life, pegs and loops on which to hang up or from which to take down at pleasure the wardrobe of moral imagination. They are for thoughts and for remembrance. They inform the head and rectify the heart. Like Fortunatus's wishing cap, they give us the best riches, those of fancy, transporting us not solely over half the globe, but which is better, over half our lives. At a word's notice, read more in Hazlitt, his Plain Speaker, chapter 2, 66 passum, that note there being in brackets. They are the calmers as well as the instructors of the mind, says Mrs. Inchbold, and purifiers of the body as well. For if we are to believe a modern authority, to read the works of George Borrow is to wash soul and body in the open air, to be purified from the stains of civilization, and to meet and greet the mighty mother. Our footnote pointing us to Lionel Johnston's Post Liminium, page 201. Charles Lamb cannot sit and think. Books think for me, he said. They interpret what we see and experience. They add to our emotions, make the present live and the past survive. Modern painters opened up a new and glorious universe for F.J. Furnivall. By reading, a man does, as it were, antedate his life, making himself contemporary with ages past. Zeno recommended as a prime means towards happiness, resorting to the dead and holding familiar converse with them by means of books. For thus we should have such good instructors as they have been observed in our predecessors. The pen records time past and present both. Skill brings forth books, and books is nurse to troth. Quoting there a line from Churchyard, Worthiness of Wales. They are the legacies that genius leaves to mankind, delivered down from generation to generation, presents to the posterity of those yet unborn. Nothing so pleasant, so delightful as letters, saith Cicero, by whose means the infinite of things, the incomprehensible greatness of nature, the heavens, the earth, and all the seas of this vast universe are made known to us. Farther, they have taught us, he relates, religion, moderation, stoutness, courage, redeemed our souls out of darkness, to make her see all things high and low, first and last, and those between both. They store and supply us with all such things as may make us live happily and well, and instruct us how to pass our time without sorrow or offense. They are the keys which admit us to the whole world of thought and fancy and imagination, to the company of sage and saint, of the wisest and the wittiest at their wisest and wittiest moments. They are additional senses. They help us to hear with the finest ears and listen to the sweetness of voices of all time, and to see with the keenest eyes. They are the eyes through which we look at the world of thought and things. Virgil and Cicero were to Petrarch additional eyes through which he looked into a new world. They are the two eyes of our language, he said. And a line there, and it looks like Latin, our footnote just pointing us to Tatham, Francesco Petrarca. So we will attempt to read the Latin here. The two eyes of our language, he said, gli occhi della lingua nostra. And so perhaps that is just a direct translation of those lines we just read, which are here in the text in italics. The two eyes of our language, referring to Virgil and Cicero. And since Victor Hugo carried Amiel from world to world, they are vehicles which transport us beyond ourselves. And finally, they are also the mirrors in which we look at ourselves. These to his memory, since he held them dear, perchance as finding there unconsciously some image of himself. That footnote pointing us to Tennyson's dedication for Idols of the King. The dedication is to Queen Victoria and the reference to Prince Albert. So books as mirrors that allow us to look into ourselves. But that brings us to the end of that section there on page 283. The next one being also a shorter one. And I don't recognize this. I'm assuming the title here is in Latin. Lacrimae Muserum. Lacrimae Muserum, I think. I'll have to look up how to pronounce that before we move ahead with the next reading. So we'll pop the bookmark in here, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next reading.